Good morning, everybody. It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Okay, so I made a 26-minute long video on the Bucks Suns Game 1 NBA Finals, and I realized that because I didn't see as much of the game as I'd like to, when listening back to what I had to say, and then listening to other commentators, I realized that there were some things that I probably should try to go back and take a look at. So that's what I did. Went back and watched the highlights just to make sure that I was tying loose ends in my way of looking at this. And so this is what I got to say to you guys. Um, First of all, welcome back, Giannis. What a terrific effort to try to get back out there on that knee and show everybody that he's still here to lead the Milwaukee Bucks, and that there ain't gonna be no NBA Finals without his game playing down there. So that's a big time move in terms of heart, showing us that not only is he all in for the NBA Finals, but he's not taking no time to try to see if he gonna heal up or whatever. He's choosing the moment over choosing his body. And long term, maybe he regrets it, maybe he doesn't, but it's his decision to make. And he looked good out there. He did. He looked like he's been recovering. So um, that's the first thing I want to mention. The second thing I want to mention is also another injury. Dario Saric hurt his knee in this game. Left it. I think it was in the second quarter. It didn't look good. He stepped kind of funny, and we'll find out what's next on the MRI. He is a unsung kind of player on this Suns team. I've kind of neglected to mention him in regards to the Suns, but he's been a pretty huge piece because he provides scoring, stretching the floor a little bit, and also some rebounding and some intangibles down there. He's a tough dude at that power forward position. Another body to throw at Giannis, another guy who can make him work on the other end, and his absence will be felt in this series, even though they've done a really good job with the other players that they play in that position. So they are a very deep team, and they will make up the difference without Dario. But you will see the difference because they're going to be slightly thinner out there because of his absence. So that's a thing to mention. So now we can get into the game. Here's the thing: if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you're kind of concerned about this series because what you saw out there is a bunch of your players have solid performances individually. Giannis come back and not affect the game negatively offensively like he's been seen doing in these playoffs, with kind of the way that he plays, going to the line, slowing the pace down because of it. Um, his 13-second free throws and stuff like that. It almost feels like a 20-second timeout after every foul call. The way that he plays the game draws so much attention. He has the ball in his hands a good 70% of the time. He's not particularly a great shooter, not a particularly great ball handler. So what ends up happening is he tends to make the offense stagnant, particularly the other players don't get a rhythm, don't get their consistent touches because of the style of play that's happening when he's down there. And what I saw was him likely having watched how they've had success without him in the game 5 and 6 of the last series, and it's kind of figured out what he needs to do to kind of work with the players on his team rather than work without him. It's a difference when you're constantly out there. Even though you watch film, you're always watching film on the team with you on it. You don't really get to see what the team does well when you're not there. And when you're the MVP, two-time MVP, face of the franchise, nobody's going to sit down and actually tell you, hey, the team plays better without you. You have to kind of see it yourself, and it's not something that you have to see through the eyes of others. It's one of those situations where it's like, oh, okay, so Middleton does get consistent shots when I'm not down there because I'm not the one taking the shots, keeping him from rhythm, and he needs rhythm. Oh, okay, Drew Holiday has more space to work because I'm not down there driving at the paint, giving easy buckets to my team, but at the same time in those easy buckets, once again, another possession where other guys don't touch the ball. Once again, where there's not good ball movement. Once again, it's another situation where I'm shooting a three, clanking, it's going off the other side, going down the other way. That's a shot that Drew Holiday doesn't shoot. That's a shot that Chris Middleton's not taking. And that's the type of stuff that Giannis needed to see to know what he needs to do to be himself, but to still be able to get the most out of his team. And I saw him do a much, much better job at that yesterday by just getting rid of the ball quickly. If it's not there, let it go. You know, if you're open with a 3-point shot, maybe you take it. But his shot selection was better tonight. He wasn't forcing the three, and that's most importantly what it's about. Trying to get himself in the rhythm in the absence of good possessions for his basketball team. So what I saw was a guy who just kind of made himself flow better with the offense. So with that going on, guys pretty much playing well, the Bucks still lost, and still lost emphatically. Now, could you see more? You would love to get more points out of Jrue Holiday. You would love to get more production out of Bobby Portis. Those guys who had some minutes out there and didn't get the most out of them production-wise. So you want to see more out of those guys. What really was the story after watching the highlights, getting a little more out of what happened? The Suns took advantage of the Bucks switching. They put them in the spin cycle, basically put them in a pinball machine is what I'm trying to say. Screens everywhere. Got the switch matchups that they wanted, and ended up finding themselves having guards with bigs defending them. And when you have a situation like that, if the guard's dynamic enough, especially if they're fast enough to get to the rim and savvy enough to shoot the mid-range shot, if they have those two things in their wheelhouse, which both of the guards, in fact all three of the Suns guards have, what you end up having is a pick and roll nightmare. Now Brook Lopez caught up in the pick and roll, getting taken advantage of. Bobby Portis the same, getting taken advantage of. And we just saw a lot of that tonight. The Bucks are really good defensively. Budenholzer's really good defensive coach. So I'm thinking that he's going to find a way to kind of cut all that out. Because that's just an adjustments situation. When you see that's happening, you just got to schematically put yourself in a position to make sure it doesn't. And I've seen the Bucks use different types of defenses in these playoffs, so I'm pretty sure that the Suns ain't going to get no looks like that going forward. Or if they do get looks like that, it won't be as many. So that's what you're going to be looking for in game 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through. Let's just see if the Bucks find a way to eliminate those matchups. You do that, and you see a different game tonight. Because a lot of the scoring that the Suns got were just those type of plays where Brook Lopez trying to guard Chris Paul or trying to guard Devin Booker. It's just, one would think, if you don't know the game, you would think, well, you put a 7-footer on a small, he's just going to block his shot. But what you don't realize is that the small starts to dancing, and the bigs can't move their feet that fast. So the smalls start to dancing, and they run straight past those smalls. And even though the smalls usually have long arms, these smalls, the bigs have long arms, the smalls have so much, they're so savvy, and they're so good in midair to where they're going to draw fouls immediately, or they're going to make the shot and draw the foul. So that's what you're seeing. A lot of Chris Paul, a lot of Devin Booker taking advantage of Brook Lopez for the most part. That's what we saw. Brook had his feet, his legs under him. He looked good in the first half scoring the ball, but you just can't leave him out there if that's going to be the dynamic. And that's dangerous because you need him to kind of go up against Ayton and match the size. Even though he doesn't necessarily rebound well at all, going up against Ayton, you want a long player who can make him work on the other side, as well as somebody who can kind of force tip balls and things of that nature. Brook Lopez is a tip ball rebounder. So, on the offensive glass, he could be helpful, but going up against a guy like Ayton, he's going to need to be able to pull boards down. He's going to need to be able to use his length to break up lobs and things like that. He's the only thing in the way of the Phoenix Suns lobbing the ball on every play. And I think that's another thing I'm going to be paying attention to as the series progresses. If the Suns effectively remove Brook Lopez from the series by continuing to exploit him on the pick and roll, that opens up the series entirely for Ayton. And this thing could end quickly, really quickly. As I said in the video that I deleted, I think that Budenholzer found something in the fourth quarter, putting Giannis at the center spot. I think he should go to that early and often if this pick and roll issue continues. I like Brook Lopez in this series because he can stretch the floor and he does a lot of things for the Bucks in terms of blocking shots, things of that nature. He affects a lot defensively. that people don't really realize. But if he's going to have these type of liabilities, he just can't be on the floor, period. And the Suns showed the world that they can exploit bigs. They did it against the Lakers with Andre Drummond. They have a good system in place for taking advantage of that. So if you don't stop the bleeding, they will continue to run it, and that's going to be how the series goes. So I think Giannis playing the center spot does kind of give you the athleticism and match the energy and intensity necessary to get at Ayton. And if Budenholzer comes around to putting Giannis on Ayton, I think it could work out for him a little better, much better. Because what ends up happening if you put Giannis at the center is it eliminates a lot of those issues that I said that Giannis ultimately has naturally on this team. Because it puts him in the paint. It puts more of an emphasis on him not being a scorer, and that will get more rhythm shots for those shooters on that Milwaukee team. So you can kill two birds with one stone. You can semi solve your Ayton issue, and you can solve your ball moving issue. Even though, like I said, Giannis did a great job of that yesterday. You put him back in a position where he doesn't have to think so much about doing that. Put him in the paint, let him rebound, let him bang with Ayton, even though he's got the knee. Maybe that works in the favor of trying to help him with that knee. Maybe not, depending on how that actually is when you're banging with somebody. But I would imagine less running around, less pushing off, more time inside the paint, less time roaming probably could be better for the knee. But banging, I don't know. I really don't know. But what I can say is that's your best bet. That's your best bet as far as I can tell. What I saw down there also was that the Suns were running some zone themselves. They put themselves in positions to try to zone Giannis out and try to attack him differently. Going one-on-one against Giannis is futile if you're the Suns. You don't have the personnel to guard him. But if you can run little funny zones and kind of put them in positions to have them off balance, you could continue to take advantage of them. And I like what Monty was doing down there defensively as well. So if that keeps up, also works in the Suns' favor. Chris Paul was phenomenal, as usual. Phenomenal. You got to give him all the credit in the world for continuing to put on legendary performances in these playoffs. His first NBA Finals game continued that process, and he looked absolutely amazing. DeAndre Ayton, same thing. He had like 22 points, 19 boards, just the most rebounds of any big-time center in their first NBA Finals game that I saw. I saw a list of the names, all the big guy names. None of them boarded as high as Ayton did yesterday. So, as I told people in the pregame video or the video on the previous day, I told folks I think Ayton's going to be the Hall of Famer, or is projected to start the path of becoming that type of talent, because he's starting to win championships early if they get this series, which I think they will. And he's having such a dominant effect on these playoffs, which allows me to believe that it does become a situation where it carries forward. And then you look at him and I say he's the best conditioned center in basketball, which means the projection of him continuing this process, if he stays healthy, is super high. So I don't see any reason why he can't be Dwight Howard or better, to be honest with you. He just rebounds the ball so fantastically. He scores the ball better than Dwight. He's not the defender Dwight was, but I see the body and the conditioning is there. He reminds me of a Dwight Howard with a jumper. And that's a dangerous, dangerous thing if you're the NBA. So I don't know what you guys think of that in terms of the comparison. That's what he reminds me of, though. An offensive Dwight Howard with a jumper. So now that we've gotten all that in, something I noticed that Chris Paul does a lot. If you're trailing him, if you're a defender trailing him, don't run directly behind him. Giannis got a taste of that. He'll slow down, make you run up his back, and they'll call a foul for him every time. He's done that a lot. A lot of point guards do that. There are many point guards who do that. But those are the type of little veteran, savvy type of moves that you got to pay very close attention to when you're going up against a guy like Chris Paul, because he's going to do every little thing to give his team an advantage. And as the series progresses further and further, he gets closer and closer to a championship, he's going to do more and more of that stuff. More flopping, more baiting you, more kicking legs, and all that stuff. speaking of kicking legs, I did see that the refs did pay attention to offensive shooters kicking their legs out. Devin Booker had a nice little 3-point play looking situation, and they called the offensive foul because he kicked his leg out. So they've already begun the process of getting on jump shooters with the rules that they've made, that they're changing in regards to jump shooters kicking their legs out and jumping different angles and stuff like that into defenders. They're not calling the foul on the defender anymore. They're going to give you the offensive foul. So we're seeing that in these finals. We are seeing the beginning of that. What else? Drew Holiday looked good out there, but he needs to score more if they're going to win. Same thing for a lot of the players on that Bucks. Their game just didn't travel. Middleton didn't have that problem, though. He looked great for 3 straight games. If he had a little help out there, it would have been great for the Bucks. Pat Connaughton, I got to see his numbers. I'm not really sure. He seemed like he was making an impact out there, though. He's gotten a lot better as these playoffs have proceeded. He's gotten better. Mikal Bridges didn't shoot as well as you need him to, but he's still making himself effective out there, being a defender, and ultimately just being savvy, smart, rebounding the ball well, quickly cutting to the basket, making sure that he's available when his team needs him to, shooting the 3-point shot. Like I said, it's not falling like he needed to, but he does pose the threat quite a bit. So you're happy with his contributions in the first NBA Finals game for his career. Cam Johnson was fantastic out there. As I said in the video, and I made an emphasis on this in the video I deleted, Cam Johnson has turned into a fantastic steals player. He seems to get his hands on loose balls and rips people head up as well. He's just really, really turned into somebody that you have to pay attention to. Quintessential 3 and D. He shoots that corner 3 is about as good as anybody. His jump shot is wet. And he's not bad in making quick decisions passing the rock, especially in the open court. He's good. He knows how to run a fast break about as well as anybody on the team. And when you put him out there, he's finishing. Chris Paul and him on a fast break with Mikal Bridges and those guys. Cam Johnson makes himself available to his team just like Mikal Bridges in regards to that. And keep those youngsters together, and I think Phoenix is going to continue to be a playoff team for years and years to come. Cam Payne looked great out there again. He's shaking off his injury. Excuse me. He looked great. His jumper's back to normal. His speed is back to normal. And he's such a dynamic young player with so many different skills that I really am starting to wonder if his upside is higher than we all anticipated. Because the team runs so well without Chris Paul because he doesn't allow for much drop-off. He doesn't turn the ball over much. He's aggressive offensively. He gets to the line. He hits his threes. This is a guy who excels on the defensive end. In fact, he stood out on the defensive end for me before he even got a chance to really get playing time to show what he can do offensively. He was a guy who stole the ball a lot, even in limited minutes when he played for other teams like the Bulls. So I already knew who Cam Payne was as it pertains to him getting a chance to do what he does defensively. But offensively, I didn't know he had this stuff in him. And now that he's showing it in these playoffs, he's going to get a bag from somebody. And them two Cam boys, they're two-way players. They both are fast, and they both do what the Suns need them to do within the frame of the offense. They are not, excuse me, ball stoppers. They're not guys that you have to worry about doing all kinds of stuff that doesn't benefit the team. They play within the flow of the offense, they play good defense, and they make sure that they're readily available in the passing lanes, stealing the rock. Both of those Cams are problems for the Bucks and anybody who has to see these Suns in the future. Keep those guys together. What else? Excuse me. I think more than anything, the issue is going to be, even though the Suns won this first game and dominated really easy, they're going to have to find a way to deal with Giannis. As this series progresses, if he doesn't have any setbacks, he's going to get better, more aggressive. Now, that may not bode well for the Milwaukee offense, but they got here because of how he plays. It's annoying, but he gets such easy buckets so often, and he affects so much on the defensive end. he does things that you don't think he should be able to do, or that no one else is going to be able to do. Like, for example, that chase down block that he had, I think it was in the second quarter against Mikal Bridges. Mikal is used to being able to get that layup. That's an easy layup against every team they've played against in these playoffs. If they get that play going, it's gone. Giannis trailing, they didn't even see him. He came out of nowhere, blocked that shot so perfectly. Even though he came down kind of funny on that knee, and I watched how he was walking, he wasn't exactly 100% out there, so he's playing on that knee, looking great. And I'm telling you, he blocked that shot out of nowhere. And that's what Phoenix is going to have to adjust to. None of the teams that they face had anybody like that. Lakers don't, with the exception of AD, who wasn't out there. If we had everybody out there, they wouldn't be here. So that's a whole other thing. Denver don't have nobody like that, with the exception of maybe Aaron Gordon, but Aaron Gordon ain't doing that. And of course, the Clippers don't have anybody doing that either. Not like that. Kawhi is fantastic, but he don't have that kind of athleticism, not at all. So, like, they're not used to that. They get an open court steal, fast break. They're expecting to get an easy layup. No, you got to dunk that ball. You got to draw that foul. Giannis's athleticism is going to be a thorn in the Suns' side as this series progresses. He's going to will his team to 1 or 2 wins. I'm telling you right now, there will be no sweep, because I think as long as you have a healthy Giannis, there's a mismatch on the floor that the Bucks can take advantage of. Without him, it's more of a can we win our matchups type of situation if you're the Bucks. Can Jrue Holiday beat CP3? Can Chris Middleton outshoot Devin Booker? Those are the type of conversations you're having. Can Brook Lopez and PJ Tucker and Bobby Portis come together to somehow team rebound against Ayton? With Giannis out there, you don't have those issues. So that's what it is. Now that we know Giannis is a part of this series, how Phoenix approaches going forward, especially since they've tasted success early, it can lull you into a belief that you're going to have this type of success every game, and you're not against a very good Bucks team with really, really talented offensive shooters. They don't have as many shooters as Phoenix, but exploiting that pick and roll and getting them easy buckets like they got tonight, getting to their spots all easy like they did tonight, it's not going to be that easy going forward, I don't believe. Not if the Bucks handle business like they're supposed to and make these adjustments. This series can end early if the Bucks don't make the adjustments. But if they do make the adjustments, I expect those adjustments to work because of the personnel. So, yeah, move Giannis to the center at times, not the whole game. But when you have Ayton out there doing what Ayton's doing, looking great, put Giannis on him. Try your best there. Don't worry about Giannis scoring as much. Let Middleton have more of those shots. Let Jrue Holiday have more of those shots. Let Pat Connaughton get a little more legs, get more of those shots, etc., etc. Less shots for Giannis, particularly from the three-point shot. I don't want Giannis to take no threes. If he takes 1 3 a game, I'm happy. 1 3 a game, bro. Honestly. More ball movement, more assists, less threes for Giannis. If you cut down his three-point shooting and give those shots to Middleton, the Bucks are going to be in a great position to keep this series going. But if he starts getting happy from behind the three, start reverting back to old Giannis, that stuff I always talk about, how he ends up finding himself picking up his dribble and pivoting, looking for guys to kind of run around him and cut around him. That stuff doesn't work. His team, the offense breaks down really, really fast. And that's what Giannis, I hope, has come to understand, is that he can break down the offense by himself. You can have a nice play running, and all of a sudden his dribble just ends up falling apart. Next thing you know, your play's dead. And that happens far too often to the Milwaukee Bucks. Far too often. So, he did a great job with that. I want to see him do it again. And I think putting him at the center position could help. So, was there anything else I wanted to get at? Man, I said it all. I think it was so much, though. I hope that you guys are enjoying these finals, these playoffs. I certainly am enjoying the way it's starting. It's going the way I want it to. I want Phoenix to win. I'm not going to make any secrets about that, but I am happy for the Milwaukee fan base. I'm happy for Giannis, happy for Jrue Holiday, happy for Middleton. Those guys all deserve to be here. PJ Tucker. He's going to be important. He did come out firing like I thought he would. Playing against this old Phoenix team, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a good series. So pay attention to PJ Tucker or the Milwaukee Bucks. Anyway, I'm going to drink some water, clear my throat, listen back to this, see if I can live with this video. Thank you guys for watching. My name is BDL44. I'm out.